boy，你想点什么？
What are you talking about?
哎呦，boy，why no speak Chinese?
Learning new languages can be a challenge, and I can definitely understand why most of you, including myself, stop learning new languages before we even started. Most of the time, we will feel like that learning new languages can be difficult, boring, or sometimes we don't even start to learn the new languages because we feel like we don't need to learn any new languages because we have English as the prominent language of the world. Now, even in Malaysia, we have Malay as the official language of our country. So basically, we don't need to learn any other new languages to talk to other people because simply everyone is speaking Malay and the only language that we need to learn is English, and it is simply because we need it for our job or for our academic performance. Now, as someone who has been learning languages for the past few years, I have seen a lot of difficulties and also the fun part of learning new languages. Learning new languages can open you to a lot of doors of opportunities. For example, you can simply make friends with any other races in the world if you simply try hard enough trying to learn their languages. In my presentation, I will be not teaching but show you why we need to learn new languages and how can we start and what kind of benefits we can get in learning new languages. Let's move on why do we need to learn new languages. I don't know if you have ever experienced this, but have you ever experienced going to any kind of store with these people that are different races than you and speak a completely different languages than you? And somehow they mistaken you for being the same race with them and they try to speak to you in their own language. Well, I've been experiencing this kind of experience like my whole life. Like when I go to the Chinese restaurant and they will start the conversation in Chinese and I will giving them like this confused face and try to explain to them that I am not Chinese and I don't speak Mandarin. Because of that, it's kind of motivate me like, well, if they keep mistaking me as Chinese, why don't I just learn their languages so I don't need to explain to them every time that I'm not Chinese? So, in my experience, whenever I try to speak Mandarin to them and they know that I'm not Chinese, most of the reaction that I got from them are a delightful reaction that they are shocked and they are impressed that I try to learn their culture, I try to learn their language. There is one time where I go to this Chinese restaurant with some of my friends. Well, some of us are able to speak in Chinese, so we try to order in Chinese. The waiter over there, they realize that our Chinese are not fluent. We are not very good at Chinese, but she is very impressed with us because we try to order in Chinese, we try to speak Mandarin, and the reaction she gave us is very very heartwarming. She said that she loves us because we try to learn their language. Now, why did I tell you all of these stories? It is probably because I want people to experience this heartwarming event. When you try to learn others' languages, you can get closer to people, you can learn their culture, and you can make friends. And the most heartwarming part is you can make people's day. It is not because it is beneficial to you only, but it also give the joy to other people's faces. You give them a new smile because they know, wow, someone is trying to learn their language. It's the same as you when a foreigner trying to speak Malay with you. Of course, you are going to be impressed with them. Now, how do you start learning new languages? You already hear my experience, but where do we start? When do we start? And how do we try to start learning these languages? For me, first of all, you need to understand the kind of language that you just speak. For example, you need to know how different the language that you pick compare to the language that you are currently fluently speaking. For example, Malay. Malay are quite different, very different than Mandarin, Japanese, Tamil, and Korean. They are very different in terms of grammar, in terms of the way you write it, and in terms of making sentence out of it. Malay and English are quite similar, that's why most Malaysians are able to speak in English. So, when you pick your language, you need to be prepared about how hard it is to learn. There is a few shortcuts in learning languages, but there are no quick shortcut that you can do where you can learn for 2 weeks and being able to be fluent in it. In minimum, you will be able to speak comfortably, not fluently, in 6 months. However, you would need more than 2 years to able to speak very fluently in the language you pick, especially when you're trying to speak a language such as Mandarin. Now, you already know what kind of level the language that you just picked and how hard it is. But where do you start from there? So basically, you try to find resources from the internet or any places that can help you to at least make basic sentences. What I mean by basic sentences, for example, when you try to order water from the restaurant, those are the kind of simple sentences. Trying to order food, asking someone name, asking their age, or telling them your name. I'm not talking about trying to make a whole paragraph of story, trying to speak with other people, because it is impossible when you just started trying to learn that language. Impossible, no way you are able to do it. Now, you already know what kind of language you want to pick. You already know the resources, how to use the resources, and what kind of training you need to do. However, what learning new languages, what actually are the benefit of learning new languages other than being able to talk to others or being able to learn their culture? Well, learning new languages does not just benefit you socially, but it actually benefits you mentally too. So, from the research that I found, learning new languages can enhance your brain function. From the studies that I read, learning new languages can improve your memory. Well, this is kind of obvious because when you are learning new languages, you are basically using a lot of memorization skill while you are learning those vocabulary of the target language that you are trying to learn. Other than that, the research that I found also that language learners often perform better on multitasking. This is also quite obvious because language learners have the capability of switching their language on a daily basis. When they are talking, they are able to adapt with other people by easily switching their language every time they need them. Now, okay, you already know why do you need to learn new languages. You already know how to learn new languages, and you also learn the benefit of learning new languages other than social benefits. Well, I'm not going to repeat to you the technique of how to learn new languages. Instead, I will be telling you the kind of mentality that you need to have, the kind of preparation that you need to have when you are starting to learn new languages. When you just started learning new languages, you're basically trying to do a baby step all over again. For example, like when you are an infant, you're trying to learn your own mother tongue, you start at a baby step. Basically, you are trying to learn to speak. Well, learning new languages is as the same as that. You are trying to learn how to speak again. And when you are learning new languages, you need to have this sense of humbleness. Why? Well, when you are learning new languages, you are bound to make a mistake. You are bound to fail. And because of this reason, a lot of people who are interested in learning new languages, most of them stop before they even started because they are afraid to do mistake. However, without mistake and failure, you won't know the level you at the time. You won't know the part of your skill that you need to improve. And because of that, most people just simply gave up on their progress. Learning new languages is a challenge to all of us. All of people who are multilingual, bilingual,
All of them has faced this kind of challenge. It is important to us to understand that learning new languages doesn't have any shortcut to it, and it is important for us to prepare ourselves mentally. I wish that in the future more people, especially Malaysian, trying to learn more languages. Even though Malaysian are a multicultural country, however, I still hope that people are still keeping with trying to learn new languages or any part of the world, because learning new languages is fun. There are many beautiful things people miss out from not learning languages. That is all from me. My name is Ryan Isaiah, and I hope to see all of you again in the future.